Shalom Israel. First and foremost, want to give all praises to the Most High in the name of His only begotten Son. Call Halal Yom La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Salutations to you, sincere Akim out there spreading this truth with the four corners of the globe and righteousness and sincerity found the elders and apostles on down. Most High willing, this video be edifying. I'm gonna go straight into it and play this clip. Basically, we going into how well, death by medical doctors, because these medical doctors, man, they are killing people, man, and they're one of the top killers of all the causes of death, man. Press play, and most I will, I bring out the scriptures afterwards.
Doctor, you hit on the third leading cause of death in the United States, and I'm sure most of us could figure it's either heart-related or cancer or diabetes, things like that. Can you clue us into what that is and why?
Okay. Thank you for asking that, because this is the 10,000-pound gorilla in the room that nobody's talking about. The third leading cause of death, as published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, is MD-directed treatments. This means you go to a medical doctor, an MD, he gives you a treatment and you die from it. According to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, 15,000 Medicare patients a month are killed by MD treatment, and nobody goes to jail. A handful of terrorists fly 2 planes into the Twin Towers. 3,500 people die, and we go to war. But 15,000 people a month are killed by medical doctor treatments, and we don't bat an eyelash. This is because we have been, I don't want to say brainwashed, that's not the correct term, but we have been, for the last 100 years, kind of led into this false belief. I think it was Marcus Welby that started it, that the medical doctor is king and knows everything about everything. And really, you need to just shut up and follow your medical doctor's advice. Most people in the United States have no idea at all of the history of the evolution of medicine in the United States. In the early 1900s, it was a relatively level playing field between the chiropractors, the osteopaths, the homeopaths, and the MDs. In 1915, 1920, there was something called the Flexner Report. The Carnegie Corporation funded this man named Abraham Flexner. He went all around the country, and he went on stagecoach and train and horseback. This was before the interstate highway system, right? It took Flexner 5 years to do this. He went all around the country and did an inventory of all of the medical schools that prescribed drugs. He brought the list back to the Carnegies, who owned drug companies, and then the Carnegies and the Rockefellers gave millions of dollars of free money to the medical schools and hospitals in the United States that were prescribing drugs. That was the beginning of the end. After the Flexner Report, there was no more level playing field in the United States. And the MDs started a juggernaut that's taken off. Most people in the United States think that the predominant medicine here, MD-directed pharmaceutical medicine, we think that those guys are top dog because their therapeutics are better than the homeopaths or the naturopaths or the chiropractors. It's not. They're in the driver's seat because of political and financial coalitions that were built at the turn of the century that most people have no idea of at all. And it's a gigantic problem. And I mean, it's crazy, right? It's the third leading cause of death. And yet, when the government makes noise about messing with people's insurance, everybody freaks out. And that's a whole nother thing to talk about, isn't it? Because what is medical insurance? When you buy medical insurance, what are you doing? You're betting that you're going to get so sick, you will not be able to afford it. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And then, so you pay good money every month to gain access to a system of medicine that's the third leading cause of death in the United States. We need our heads examined, quite frankly. That's why we give, Dr. Wallach and myself collectively, we give 400 free lectures a year. And we're building a grassroots network because people don't know this. I mean, I come to my lectures and they look at me and say, couch potatoes live longer, medical doctors, the third leading cause of death. What's going on here? We're like the people, in Galileo's time saying, hey, everybody, it's the sun that's at the center of the solar system, not the Earth. Well, hey, everybody, the Earth is round, it's not flat. Hey, everybody, slavery's a bad thing. Right? This is we have a social agenda here. Why do we have a social agenda? Because people are suffering needlessly. You wouldn't believe, as God is my witness, you would not believe the things that I've seen people recover from in holistic medicine. The body's ability to fix itself is remarkable. Most of the time, all that the body needs to do that is the raw materials that it needs to do that. And we need to stop eating food that's hurting the body. If you put diesel fuel in an unleaded engine, even if it's a brand new Ferrari, it's going to run like crap if it runs at all. There's nothing wrong with the car, it just had the wrong fuel. It's the same with the human body. You give the human body the raw materials that it needs, clean up the diet, Superman, Superwoman. And if you don't get the super status, then at least your blood pressure normalizes, at least your arthritis goes away, at least your anxiety and panic attacks go away, and you can sleep through the night.
Yeah, this doctor, he brought out a lot of good points, and got a couple of scriptures I wanted to bring out. I think I want to start in Job, in the book of Job, 13th chapter. This is Job chapter 13, verse 4. It says, "But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value." And that's right, man. A forger is, someone who puts, who creates things on top of another. They forge things together. So they said forger of lies, and you put in lies on top of lies on top of lies, and they have created this system of this relationship between the patient and a medical doctor, where the people are dependent on the physician. And the scriptures say, "Ye are all physicians of no value," and these people are physicians of no value, man. He just brought out the proof, the facts that the medical doctors are the third leading cause of all deaths, man. Prescribing these drugs, prescribing these drugs, just as what it is, prescribing their witchcraft, man. Giving you their potions to kill you, man. Right? Another thing, he was talking about, how people they putting all this money in their health care and these policies with the intent of thinking that they're gonna get really sincere, like they really super sick, where they're gonna need the to go and consult with doctors, medical doctors, that to prescribe them drugs when they are the third leading cause of all deaths, man. So you spending good money, your hard-earned money, into a system where that's the third leading cause of death, man. Basically paying someone to keep you, to take money from you and kill you, man. This is Second Chronicles chapter 16, verse 12. And Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, was disease in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to Yahweh, but to the physicians. So right there, that's violation, man. Supposed to seek the Lord first. Verse 13. And Asa slept with his fathers and died in the 114th year of his reign. He sought not the Lord in his sickness, but he sought the physicians. A lot of things that people do in this society in these times too, man. They seek the medical doctors when the guy just brought out that they're the third leading cause of all deaths, man. You're supposed to seek the Lord first. Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse start at 9. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Leave off from sin, and order thine hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. First thing you're supposed to be doing in your sickness is not being negligent and pray unto the Lord. Okay? Then you leave off from sin. All right? You leave off from transgressing the law. So you need to understand what is the law to understand if you're transgressing it or not. That's what sin is. Sin is the transgression of the law, man. Then you give I'm gonna jump to 12 because 11 it says, you give a sweet savor, a fine flour, and a fat offering. Then 12 it says, then give place to the physician, for the Lord have created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou has need of him. Not talking about a medical doctor that got a degree. This physician is not talking about a medical doctor in Babylon, all right, in the great door of Babylon, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, that made a Hippocratic oath and prayed unto other gods, man. It's not talking about that kind of physician. This physician is talking about a physician that the Most High set up, man. Okay? It says, then give to the physician, for the Lord have created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. Okay? Says there is a time when in their hands there is good success. Okay? For they shall also pray unto the Lord that he would prosper, that which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life. There you go, right there, man. The physician that the Most High sent is also supposed to pray unto the Lord that he may prosper, and how he's going to actually give the remedy to prolong the person's life, man. And in this video, he also talks about, stop eating things that's making your body sick, and giving the things that your body, what I'm saying? That's how you're supposed to do it, man. Your diet. The diet is actually a big part on in your illness. But that's talking about the flesh as far as the physical. But it's not only the physical that you need to be healing, man. All right, you got mental health, because you talk about anxiety and getting well, sleep too. But you got that partakes in your diet, as far as not only the things you eat, but the things that you put in your body, man. Because if you heal the flesh and your mind is still messed up, you go back to eating the same things, and you go back to feeding your brain with the same things, man. So it's an overall thing where you got to get all your health in order, your mental, your physical, your spiritual. All right. Bring out the scripture here. Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 31 and 16. Eat as it becometh a man those things which are set before thee, and devour not, lest thou be hated. Salakia. I'm gonna start at verse 19. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed. Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He rise early, and his wits are with him. But the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the belly are with the unsatiable man. All right, talking about eating a moderate portion, not being a gluttonous, man. Okay, straight like that. Even being in the physical, greeting upon meat, greeting upon just taking things in. You got to take your time when you and taking things in your brain, man. The same thing as the actual physical belly, you know. But that right there, it plays a part in your health. But what our people do, they just skip all of this, man. And they go straight to the doctor, get a prescription, take a prescription drug, and wind up dying from the prescription. Wind up getting the side effects, which they even put the side effects. They tell you the side effects of the drugs, and people still take it like there's no other way. And they don't have no faith in the Lord. They just say, "Nah, I gotta take the doctors." The doctor said I gotta take uh, 20 of these pills, 100 of these pills, 13 of these pills, and then I gotta take 50 of these pills, on Tuesday, and on Mondays I gotta take 60 of these pills, you know, and they really do that, man. and then the parents take the kids and they get, have them is a messed up thing. But people, the vaccinations got human DNA in it, also abominable with pork in it, swine in it. Also, it's causing kids to get autism. They even force the woman, even if the woman want to give birth naturally, they tell them that they take the I think it's epidural, yeah, the epidural, or they'll prefer them to get the C-section so they could drug them, because they get money. When a doctor prescribes something, they get a cut. They get money, man. Every time they sign off on something, they get bread. They get money, man. And now people die from it. Not only that, they get addicted to the drugs too. On top of that, and then they die from it, and then other people suffer from it, man. But that being said, Shalom.